Joining me now is legal analyst and trial attorney Misty Marris. Misty, I'm so nervous for this couple. I mean, you think about being in their shoes. We know that a Mexican judge ordered their detainment. With all of this playing out in a foreign country, how long could this drag on with them behind bars?
It's actually very difficult, Marky, because it's a legal system that's very different from what we have in the United States. So as of now, they've been ordered to continue their detainment, and that's the way the system works. So a judge reviews the case, makes a determination about whether or not there's enough evidence to hold the individuals behind bars pending the collection of evidence and trial. So it's similar to what we would call a bail or bond type hearing at the beginning of the case, except in this case, they've deemed that there is enough evidence and that there should be no ability for them to fight this from beyond what we would consider bail in the United States. So they'll remain behind bars. Right now, the timeline is at least 6 months for the hotel and the timeshare to collect evidence and then ultimately potentially go to trial. But that's not trial in 6 months, Marky. That's the next evidentiary.
Next hearing.
Yes.
You think about this being your own parents and how helpless you must feel. So at this point, there's no way to get the case moved to the United States or even them to an American jail, considering that the charges were disputed with American Express?
No, so as of now, it's two separate issues, because this is what in America, it would be more of a civil case, right? It's a breach of contract. Do you owe this money to the timeshare, or do they have enough of a case to say, well, the timeshare breached our contract, therefore the contract is null and void and we don't owe that money. I mean, the American Express element is different. It's separate and apart. That they reported charges to American Express. American Express does an independent assessment about whether or not that money should be refunded to them. So all of those are parts of the case. But in Mexico, it's a breach of contract, including fraud. So it falls under their criminal code. Right now, the opportunity for America to step in, the United States to step in, would be through diplomacy and working with the government to have them released. And that's likely happening behind the scenes. We've seen that some government officials in Michigan are saying that they're taking a look at it and they're starting that process. Yeah. So that's really where we are right now.
Yeah, we know that the family has already reached out to the U.S. State Department. We'll see at what point, if ever, the government really steps in here. Another part of this Mexican complaint, Misty, is that they also accuse the accused of publicly encouraging others on social media to demand a refund if they didn't get services rendered as well. Is complaining about a bad experience online, is that considered a crime in Mexico?
Well, certainly not in the United States. And again, that falls into what there's been a lot of criticism on certain timeshare companies, and we've seen these cases play out in the civil sphere before. And of course, you're going to have Facebook groups and online groups who are going to talk about their own experiences. But Marky, the way this is being couched under the Mexican law, I'll compare it to in the United States when you talk about a conspiracy, right? So it's not necessarily that it's complaining, it's that it's encouraging others to engage in the same conduct, which Mexico, under their criminal code, is calling fraud. So if you think of it like that, that's the legal theory. That being said, certainly very different than how this case would play out in the United States. But there's no mechanism for removal, to your point. Can't be going to a New York federal court or a Michigan federal court. It has to be the government stepping in to help this couple against what would be an unlawful detainment of American citizens.
Man, this has just gone from bad to worse. I know they've been in prison for about 3 weeks. The daughter says the mom has reportedly lost about 20 pounds, so their well-being is now in question too. We're going to stay on top of this one. Misty Marris, thanks for hopping on a Friday morning. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Marky.
Yeah,
appreciate
see you again
it.
soon.